What is good, everybody? It is your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. How are y'all feeling today, Chicago? Should the Chicago Bears be concerned by their running back depth after dealing with the injury of David Montgomery? Let's talk about it right after this. If you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page because we do talk Chicago sports weekly, and we don't want you to miss a thing, so make sure that you hit that bell. Now, David Montgomery went down the other day with a groin injury, and it really changed things up for the Chicago Bears. I mean, David Montgomery is supposed to get a ton of reps this season. He was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be the number one guy, and currently, as it stands, the Bears still have three running backs on their roster, technically. Tariq Cohen, Ryan Nall, and Cordero Patterson all are the other three running backs on the roster. And it begs the question, should the Bears be concerned about their running back depth? All three of those names definitely have their own talents. I mean, Cordero Patterson, they don't call him Flash for nothing. We saw him last year. That is a very fast-grown man. Tariq Cohen, you know, what he brings to the table, that shiftiness, that ability to just break away, you know, the human joystick, as they like to call him. And Ryan Nall, another running back with some decent speed. We've seen him on a few plays, look pretty good out there. But at the end of the day, the question begs, is that enough? Is that enough? Because now you really don't have that between the tackles guy without David Montgomery. So is there enough in the building currently for you to believe in the running back depth that you have? Now, Matt Nagy said that he didn't know the severity of the injury at the time. He actually didn't even see it happen. I believe he said he was watching offensive line drills, but that David Montgomery was able to walk off under his own power. So you have some hope under that. But if the Bears were to lose David Montgomery this season, is the right guy in the building to move forward at running back this year? Now, before I continue with the video, let me know in the comments below, should the Chicago Bears be concerned about their running back depth? I'll be down there in the comments with each and every one of you. Now, at the end of the day, y'all know how I feel about running backs. As long as that offensive line is playing right, you should be able to move the football. You know what I'm saying? As long as the offensive line is playing right, we've seen running backs that had no name have big seasons back there. But I do think there's something to be said to not having that guy between the tackles anymore, because now your runs all become outside runs. I mean, Cordero Patterson, I don't see him going up the middle unless it's for a goal line jump because of his height and in his length. Tariq Cohen, you know, he's not an up the middle guy. He's an outside guy. You know, I love what Tariq can do, and you want to get him in as much space as possible. You don't want to close him in that offensive line. So you really lose that between the tackles guy with David Montgomery. And here's the thing: this may not just be a beginning of the season thing. This may not, even if the injury isn't serious, this may not just be a beginning of the season issue. This is a groin. Groins last for the entire year. This is something that's going to nag him for the entire season. Whether it keeps him out of games or not, that's a different question, but it's definitely something that's going to nag him for the entire season. So now you got to ask the question, should you bring somebody in off the street? Should you bring another guy who's that between the tackles guy in off the street? Maybe a Marshawn Lynch. Now, at this point, honestly, I don't know how much Big Lynch has left in him. I don't know how much the beast mode can still do, but I think they're bringing somebody in off the street just for the actual season moving forward. Because listen, it could be the groin injury, it could be COVID, it could be any one of these running backs, it could be any player on this team. You want to make sure that you have the best depth that you can at that position. Now, the interesting part would be that you have to, of course, if you're coming in from another state, you got to quarantine for 2 weeks. Coming to Chicago right now, the season starts in 2 weeks, so he might not be somebody you have there week one, but I think that you have to be having those conversations right now about, do we need to get somebody in the building? Should we be making these calls to get somebody else in the building from outside? Because you got to go through their COVID testing. You got to go through 2 separate COVID tests, wait for the results to come back, all while quarantining for 2 weeks just for being into a new state. And that all depends on if you have COVID or not. So Bears have a lot of interesting dynamics coming up, man. Honestly, I don't know if you have the running back depth on this roster currently that you would like to have. I think you've sacrificed it for some other positions on the field, but we're going to need to see production out of that running back position if either quarterback back there is going to have a decent chance with this offensive line of taking a step. But I want to know how you feel. Let me know in the comments below. Should the Chicago Bears be concerned by their running back depth? I am going to get up out of here. It is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. If you want to continue watching our content, click the links here or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out of Chicago. Peace.